Hello. I need to think of... I should do these intros. I should plan these intros out in a way that's like more mise en scène. There's no mise en scène. I think there was mise en scène in the pilot episode. I used to record them over on the sofa, but now I'm recording them at my desk, facing. They're a bit easier to record if I do them here. So perhaps I'll invest in making this area a little bit more mise en scène. There's a lamp that I have that if I turn that on, that's just ruined it. I think what I need is a lamp here or some sort of light here. You can't see that, just there. But for now I'll be backlit by my computer screen. That's fine. In today's show, this is Ed's show. Today's show we're going to be making an asset or making a scene inside my game for Attire 2, which is episode 2 of my RPGMaker game that I'm making. Why RPGMaker? I'm sure I'll explain in the video. Yeah, I went out today and I got some textures for the game. You'll see me getting those textures, and you'll see how one puts together a scene in a game in RPGMaker. And I've written out the dialogue and I'll put it all together, and you'll see the thing of it. I don't know how long this episode will be because it's going to be mostly live. I'm not doing many segments. I had the baking segment last week, but this time there's almost no segments. So Ed's show, it's changeable. That's the thing of Ed's show. It's whatever I want it to be, but it has to go out every week. Because consistency is key. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. We've got tweets of the week lined up again, so that's a classic. That's gonna always be around. Yeah, let's make a game. Let me show you how I'm making this game, and I'll explain everything. Everything will become clear. Enjoy the show. Hello. All right. This is Ed's show. We're doing, like I said, we're making a scene in my game, Attire. So first of all, let me explain what the scene's going to be about. Let me set the scene. And you see there's an elephant here, and I'm also in the app Paint 3D, which is an app I've never really used before until I figured out that I could sort of use some of the models inside of it for my game. Yeah, I never. You see this app? It's like they deleted Paint off like MS Paint off your Windows 11 computer, and they replaced it with Paint 3D, and it's just like completely bizarre program. Like, why have they given us this like sort of clapped 3D modeling software version of Microsoft thing? But I found it quite useful because I've been able to take some 3D shapes. For example, in Attire, there's a ship that is basically a massive donut, and I used this donut tool to create a spaceship. So if you've played Attire episode 1, you'll have seen this spaceship fly in off screen and then land. That's kind of fun how that does that to the elephant. But I used Paint 3D to sort of get that model. So I was just going to double check audio's coming out. Oh, yeah, okay, audio's coming out. Again, this is, I'm still pretty new to this, but let's not go over that too again all the time. So yeah, the thing that I want to use Paint 3D for is to collect this elephant, because in this scene that we're making today, we're introducing a new character, which is the elephant Attire warriors. This is an RPG, there's many different characters, many different storylines and such. So I wanted Elephant to be a character, just to introduce this character in this next episode, and then, you know, if you play the game, you'll see how the elephant comes into it, and maybe you'll get a nice little window in today to see what's up with this elephant. So I do a number of processes to the elephant. So I get the elephant, whose name is, I've written this down as well. This is part of the script. We're gonna be making this whole scene today, or as much as I can do within the hour, you know, or whatever of this show. I don't know if it's going to be more free form. It's going to be more chill. I need to relax a little bit. I'm a little nervous or uptight because I'm like sort of aware that I'm working on my game, but I'm also making a live stream, so I have to like sort of have it planned out a bit. And it's called How to Make a Game in RPGMaker Easy, because I think RPGMaker is the most accessible tool to make a video game in if you wanted to just make a game, which is sort of what I wanted to do, because I just wanted to make a game as quick as possible, and take shortcuts, which is probably not what you want to hear or what you want to do in life, take shortcuts all the time, but I just figured for my first game I just want to put pen to paper. Like, I've got skills in terms of animating and, well, a little bit of animating. I'm more so just like using it as, yeah, a shortcut or whatever. But I guess you'll see what I've been making, or if you rate RPGMaker or not, I don't really mind. But I think for my next game I'll probably try and learn something a bit different than RPGMaker, because I don't think it's got a lot of clout. But who cares? Just make what you want to make, and this is what I wanted to make. So, and it's the quickest path I saw to making the game that I wanted to make. Anyway, yeah, so the elephant's name is Joan of Saracen, and she's sort of not necessarily battle hardened, but she's like a war elephant, like the Italian army as such. I try not to make the game too militarized or glorifying war in any way, but the game is sort of empirical. There's an empire at play here, so they do have an army, and it's interesting to have elephants as part of the army, especially in like a sci-fi kind of setting. Like, elephants in an army, what is this? Hannibal going over the mountains in Rome. What is this? Carthage? I don't know. I think it's interesting in any case. So yeah, I've got this written out, but we'll come back to this notepad that I've written later. But yeah, I do a number of things to the elephant after having it in Paint 3D. So I'll show you what I did, sort of off screen a little bit. Oh wow, I managed to delete. No, I didn't. No, I don't have the elephant. Hang on. Oh, I do. Alright, so then I used this software called Dithermark. So basically I took a load of screenshots of the elephant, and then I uploaded it up to this website called Dithermark. And Dithermark I really think is cool because it just sort of lets you, I'll give you a little demo of what you can do in Dithermark. I'm sure there are other ways to do this, but again, I'm saying this for the first time. My way of making stuff is like very, I would say unorthodox, or just I've figured out this workflow in such a bizarre way, and I'm sure that no one else has a workflow like what I have, but I think that's part of the nature of making stuff, isn't it? You figure out your own workflow. But anyway, here's Dithermark, which is this like web tool or something. I guess you'd call it a web tool, where you can basically, this is a random image. It's a part of the website. Let me move myself so you can see what's going on. But it's this website, so you can change the dither algorithm. Dithering is, if you don't know what dithering is, maybe Google what dithering is, because I'm not gonna have time to explain what dithering is, but it's sort of a way of having, it sort of reduces the color palette of an image and blends the colors together using an algorithm. And I'm sure that's probably not exactly how it works, but whatever. I don't mind. But yeah, we see this, pardon me, we can reduce the amount of colors on screen. So let's say we just wanted 2 colors. That was that image in just 2 colors, and the colors are this sort of browny color. So if you wanted to get like a return of the Obra Dinn style look, I mean, lots of games use dithering. I think Obra Dinn is a good example of that, actually. A 3D game that uses dithering, so you can sort of fine-tune this to whatever you want. So I fine-tuned the elephant. We can actually see as well. Image, source image. You can see this is the source image that we're working off, the Paint 3D screenshot. And then I've used this algorithm, a palette that I've saved, which I think is just the ocean palette that I've just slightly edited to give the elephant a cool look. Because I want the elephant to be green because A, it's more interesting, visually interesting. B, it's not just a normal elephant, it's a green elephant. And as well, the elephant will speak, so it's got dialogue. It's a really intelligent elephant, so it can't be just an earth elephant. It's got to be a bit sci-fi, hasn't it? So I made it green, and also this will have reduced the elephant's color palette down massively. In fact, because the elephant is only using like 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe 5 or 6 colors from this whole palette, because a lot of them are just blue, and there's no real blue on this image for the for Dithermark to sort of glob onto. So then I've got this asset, this elephant, facing 4 directions, and then I've also got this one to be sort of like a profile. How this all comes together, you'll see as we go on. But however if you want to make your own RPGMaker game, however you find your assets or paint your assets or photograph your assets or whatever, I mean, that's your thing, isn't it? You find your music, and if you don't want to use RPGMaker, code your game. I mean, that's crazy to me. I've never really, my brain's not coded for coding, but maybe I'll really try and learn it at some point. I'll knuckle down with Godot. But yeah, no, for now I'm just using RPGMaker. This is my first game, so I just want to get it out the door and I don't know, beyond that shit. So yeah, this is the elephant that we've got, and we also want an asset for the ground. So my RPGMaker game is like a top-down. It's almost you know, the first Legend of Zelda, like where it was, you know, that top-down like dungeon crawler sort of aesthetic. That's sort of a little bit of the vibe. You'll see what I mean, but we also need a ground texture because this elephant is going to be on it's sort of well, shall I give you a bit more of the lore of what's happening? So our character that we're following during this act, his name's Todd. He's going to be like sort of, he was a dungeon keeper and now he's become an elephant keeper. So he's sort of training the elephants and feeding the elephants and such. So we need a paddock, a sort of a paddock area for the elephants, and I need a texture for the floor of this paddock, which would be sort of a brown sort of dirt sort of texture. So what do you do when you're looking for sort of a floor texture? So we got our elephant, we need a floor. You just go outside and you take some pictures. So I'll show you what I did to get a floor texture. So this is currently, this part of the video that the live stream or Edge show is just me showing you how I collected the assets. After I show you how you collect the assets, we'll edit them, we'll get them sorted, we'll open up our RPGMaker and we'll slot them into the game. But so this is how you collect a texture. Have I explained that well? Probably not. I mean, this show is whatever. I'm not going to get too bogged down, but this is how you collect a texture. I went outside and I got a camera and I collected the texture for the ground. Alright then, you join me outside in the real world because we're going to capture some textures for today's episode. we're going to make some textures. So this is Queen's Park in Glasgow. It's rather nice. Got a nice camera here. I'm just going to take some quick pictures of the ground. This is what being a game developer is all about, is taking pictures of the ground and making textures of it. So, as we can see right here, we have a picture of the ground. Can you see that? And we're just going to press the shutter button, and that will take a picture of the ground. So now we have a nice picture of the ground. Maybe we'll get a few more. That's perfect. Alright, back to the studio. Okay, so that was me collecting this texture of the ground. That was a good cutaway, right? That was a nice little cutaway. You know, don't say there's no production value on this show. This is definitely a more or less production heavy show. I mean, I'm just showing you what I'm sort of doing. This is a sort of a game developer showcase of what my fucked up workflow is. But let's just continue. Alright, so this is the ground texture that we got. It looks pretty crap, doesn't it? It's very grey. So we've got 3 pictures in that little video there. You can even see my shoe. So what I do then is I edit the picture of the ground, and you can actually do that in I just did it in the photo viewer of Windows. I just don't give a shit. That's sort of the vibe. I think you can get too bogged down with doing everything this crazy way. I made it more brown by turning up the warmth. I think I saturated it and changed the tint. I think that gives it more of a reddy / purple vibe, especially with the warmth. Yeah, I see. Warmth and tint. I probably changed the exposure a little bit. Maybe I did some highlights, or I turned the highlights down. That sort of flattens the image a bit. Shadows, I think maybe I got rid of the shadows, turned it fully up. I just sort of fine-tuned it, but look at the difference already. This is just by like really bodging the sliders, just like completely. There's almost, I would say, no skill to that, but I don't know. What do you think? It looks more like dirty ground now, I think. Let me cancel that because I've already done so. So this is one image. I don't know if I actually ended up using this one or not. And this is the lighter version. It's sort of like, that looks really low resolution. Doesn't look that low resolution in real life. I think the Windows photo view is a bit crap. Oh no, that's better. And then after that, I ran it through Dithermark, the same software, the same web app that I used for the elephant, and I'll show you the result of that. And I put it into a tile set. Now a tile set, you'll see what a tile set is later on when I load up RPGMaker and we start placing tiles and stuff like that. But you need to place down your textures, make a tile set. So maybe I'll show you some other tile sets as well. So here's my tile set folder, and this is again further to my sort of bodged way of doing stuff. It's a bodged way of doing stuff. Like, I know that this isn't really the correct way to organize a folder for your game. I think if you were making a game in Godot or some sort of more high level language or something, you probably want tighter controls on like where your assets are, but it makes sense to me a little bit. It made this whatever. Anyway, so here's one of my tile sets. And you can see that it's kind of cool. I mean, there's a snowy environment, there's some grass, and there's other stuff. And it's quite pixelated. That's sort of just the vibe of the game. And you can see as well, this is our dirt textures that I ran through Dithermark and pixelized. And I pixelized them so that they could be used on the floor of my game, and look at this clapped fucking fence that I made. I think I will end up redoing this at some point as well, because that fence doesn't look very good. And I also, slightly foolishly, I placed it on the same tile set layer as, same tile set layer as the dirt things, so I couldn't put the fence on top of the dirt, so I used a different tile set to put the fence. I'll show you what I mean. Why don't I show you what I mean now? So, because I've already made the environment. Spoiler alert, here's what I made earlier. So we'll get RPGMaker up. This is RPGMaker. Now this is massive jump ahead. But you can see, here's the dirt environment that I took a picture of. Can I get rid of these? Yeah, I can make it a bit clearer. And here's the fence, but I didn't put the fence on the dirt texture. It's on a different texture because it's on the same layer. I slightly fucked that up a little bit, but I wanted to get this sort of area ready for Edge Show, I guess. So I did some work beforehand. I did some mining off camera, but I'll show you sort of how the tile sets work. So this is my like kind of more good looking tile set thing. Like you can just place stuff that you want to place. Again, this is a super basic sort of way of doing tile sets, and I don't think anyone who makes RPGMaker games properly would be like, wow, you've done really well there. They'd probably be like, that's fucking, the way you're doing this is clapped. I know, I'm lazy, but I don't care. So yeah, we've got this dirt texture that we put down and a little paddock area. I've got the scene mapped out in my head, and you're probably wondering as well, what are all these little squares, these events? Well, these little squares are events. Again, this isn't a tutorial as such for RPGMaker, as such as, like, if you know what RPGMaker is, or you know how to make games in RPGMaker, it's probably be like maybe somewhat interesting to see how someone else does it, or I don't know. But if you've never used RPGMaker before, I'd recommend looking at a more in-depth tutorial. But if this is sort of wetting your whistle in a way, you sort of see how you've never used RPGMaker and you're like, oh, what is RPGMaker? Could I maybe make a game in it? Because I don't know how to code, and I've got this idea for a game in my head, and I'm like, I know I could make that, but I just can't get over not knowing how to code. RPGMaker is pretty flippin' easy to get your head around. So these are all events, and the only thing about them is I called them invis walls. These events, they're all named this invis wall, and they're all a thing that just has through unticked, meaning that a character cannot go through these events. So it's just a wall. You can make them interactable if you want, and just say like, can't, if you try and press enter or walk into it, it says can't go forward, this area is out of bounds. But I don't want that. I just want it to be a wall. We'll return back to RPGMaker shortly though, because currently we don't have our elephant, which is the main thing we need for this scene. We need the elephant. So like I said, this is a small video that is, the Edge Show this week is about making this scene. I hope I don't come off like really frantic or like slightly crazy in this. Okay, let's relax. And let me show you as well. So this is a character sheet. RPGMaker, I've probably got a better one that I could show you as well. I don't want to close this down. Let me just press File New, and then Open. Oh yeah, and this software as well is called Pixelorama. I just found it. I think I typed in like into Google like pixel editing, pixel art app or something like that, and I found this. But this is a sprite sheet. So here's our main character attire. And you can see we've got her standing still, just here, chilling. Oh yeah, this is her character model for episode 2, by the way. In episode 1, she was like in a full white sort of gown / military sort of attire. Now she's sort of like got this red jacket instead, and I don't know, I figured I'd change the outfit up a bit, just because to show time has passed between episode 1 and episode 2. Again, if you, no one's played Attire, so Attire the game. I'm also noticing issues with the way I've named this game, Attire, and Attire is in the clothing, and Attire, maybe it's just the way I say Attire. Anyway, whatever. It's my first game. Hopefully I make more. I'm gonna make more. That's my plan, is to make more games or figure out what I like doing. I think I originally wanted to be a filmmaker, but I ended up making games. I think that seemed like a more accessible way to make or tell the stories I wanted to tell. So especially with RPGMaker, it's so accessible. That's the thing of it. And I could use my animating skill to make little cutscenes between the gameplay, because the gameplay will take up most of the time, and you can have little animations in your cutscenes, so you can tell a long story. If I was to make an animation to tell my stories, or to tell say whatever I wanted to say, an animation would take so long to make something like, say, half an hour. Which my game is. Episode 1 would take you about half an hour to play. If I wanted to make an animation that took half an hour, it would take me fucking forever, just as one guy, and I'm lazy as well, so yeah, I feel, and then as well, I thought that would be, to do it in to make a game in RPGMaker would be quicker than doing something like that, but I don't think it even has been quicker. But I'm finding it interesting nonetheless, and I love video games, so who cares? But yeah, this is a sprite sheet. You can see I've got all these little sprites, and I've also got this little cursor. You'll see what that is if you play Attire episode 2 when it comes out. There's a cursor now, but that's for later on. But yeah, so this as well is a different sprite sheet, right? So here's our first sprite sheet. You'll notice and the grid lines are the same size between them. So you'll notice the grid size is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that all fits into one grid, right? On this one, we've got an x4, so it's a ×4 size of canvas, if you will. So the canvas here is 1536 by 1024, but for the player, resize canvas is 384 by 256. So this one's a much bigger, and you can tell why it's bigger because I've used it to make cars. In Attire episode 2, there's going to be a section where Attire comes to a city and there are cars in the city, and it's like, whoa, what the hell, why are there cars here? This is meant to be like a sci-fi setting. What, we've sort of progressed beyond cars, or we've decided cars, you know, in the future, why are there like crossover SUV cars in this world? But so that's something I'm working on. But anyway, it's ×4, so we'll put the elephant in this sprite sheet. Guaranteed, I feel like I've lost people, or this is incredibly difficult to follow. So why this isn't really a tutorial, because I don't think I can actually make a tutorial live that actually makes sense or something that people could follow. But if you're watching along, I sort of imagine Edge Show, by the way. This is a massive tangent now. That I think Edge Show is something that I would watch on my second monitor. Like, I don't think that this is a I mean, if you do watch it like on your main monitor, it's like the main thing you're watching. It's like an hour long. I don't think you could, but I think if it sort of belongs on a second monitor, you're like maybe gaming, or you're like doing something, you're like, oh, I'll throw on Edge Show. Or maybe if you're eating food and you're like, or cooking or something, you're like, oh, I'll throw on Edge Show. But that's sort of where I see what this is. Whatever, man. Okay, so let's just, before we just keep chatting absolute shit, move into getting our elephant in. So we need assets, active sprites, elephants dithered, folder is empty. Oh, it's because I downloaded them. Here they are. They shouldn't have been there. Again, this is why this is sort of a slower episode. In my head, this was going to be more of like a chilled episode. So I shouldn't be speaking so quickly. This is sort of maybe one to put on before you go to bed. So I'll just move my dithered elephants that I downloaded off Dithermark into my elephants dithered folder here, and then I'm going to just drag and drop our little guys in. We don't want them as a new project. We'll put them in as a new layer. So yeah, here we have a pretty big elephant, and we want this to be the one for him walking. Oh, her. Sorry, this is a female elephant, by the way. I don't know if female elephants have tusks. I think they do, to protect their young. In any case, the character of this elephant is a female. Her name's Joan. So she, I'm going to need to say she instead of he. I don't know why I said called her a he. But in any case, I'm fucking rambling again. Okay, so we need to put this guy in the top left. So the way RPGMaker works with... I just heard like a clicking sound. Can someone hear me? Maybe my next door neighbor can hear me. I think I heard like someone like rap against the wall. No, now I'm hearing things. I'm going crazy. So we're just going to shrink this little guy down. Hold shift to make sure it doesn't get distorted. And wow. Holy shit, we have got an elephant in pixel art. Doesn't that look so good? I'm actually pretty pleased with that, how that's turned out. Okay, cool. And we want to get rid of Control D to deselect. We want to get rid of this background. So we'll eyedrop the transparent background in the background. Fill area, similar area. We'll just get rid of that blue color. In fact, we can do one step better than that. We can do that, sorry. And then similar colors. So only within this selection, similar colors will get deleted. Oh, these blue ones still remain. Do the same again. And now we got rid of all the blue. And we have our elephant walking towards us. I'm just now noticing that this crow is facing the wrong way. Walking up. Oh no, it isn't. Ignore me. The crow is actually facing the correct way because it comes from the bottom up, but you don't know that yet because the game isn't out yet, so no one's played that. Yeah, okay. So then we want to copy this, paste it again, because we want the elephant to be walking towards us. It'd be nice if it was aligned properly. Actually, you know what? We'll delete it. And we'll properly align ourselves with the corners. This is why the guides, I find the guides quite important, because you can just line shit up with the grid without having to worry. And like another great thing we can do is, so the middle of our three we've got here. Alright, so what you've just seen me do, let me explain what the hell I've just done. Again, in the interest of being ridiculously lazy and shortcutting everything, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I'm trying to get this game completed. I think the main strength of the game will be sort of a visual look and the actual story itself. I think other parts of it I can skimp on a little bit, just so I can get it done. I don't know. I want to start learning the next thing or start making the next game, but I don't think I can before I complete this. So in the middle, continuing on, I keep giving you these little dumps about the game, but anyway, the game making process sort of makes you crazy. No, it doesn't. So what I've done here is I've got the first elephant, right? That is the elephant standing still. And then the second one and the third one, so the middle elephant is the elephant standing still. The one to its left and the one to its right are its walking animation. So when it starts walking down towards you, it will flip between these three animations as it's walking down. And that creates the illusion of it walking, if you will. So what I've done is I've flipped it from left to right. As you can see, one foot is slightly in front of the other. In fact, I think I can also, there's some issues here. I knew I was gonna have to do this. Just tidy up the model of the elephant a little bit and get some of that. I think we don't need as much of that sort of browny color, do we? No. We can get rid of some of that. La la la. I need to be comfortable with a slight bit of silence. Why is that not being deleted? How did that get on a different layer? Anyway, we can make the footsteps look a little more, wow, pronounced by merely erasing some of this foot. So it sort of creates the illusion that one foot is off the ground and the other one is the other foot that is on the ground as it's walking. And you can see, let's do the same for the other side, why not? Or I could just copy and paste it round, but I've started, so I'll finish. Again, this workflow is not the most efficient. It's not the one I would recommend, really, but it is the one that I've sort of thought of, I guess, and have started using. So, you know, sue me. Again, just tidy up a few of these bits. See, I should have tidied these up before copy and pasting the elephant 3 times. But who cares? Yeah, you see now this slides on the other bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. I think as well I'll add some embellishments onto the elephant as well at some point. I'll edit the elephants further. But for now, let's just get them pasted in. So we need our next elephant, the side profile elephant. Okay. Bring this guy over here. I love Pixelorama. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else use it, but I think it's pretty freaking good. Oh no, I've got rid of its trunk. There we go. We'll grab that. This is all in one layer. It doesn't matter that I've gone over it a bit or whatever the hell. Bring it down to size. We might have some slight issues here with the fact that when the elephant turns to its left, we don't want it sort of to look lots smaller than it is. Do you know what I mean? So what we might end up doing is editing the trunk slightly. or making the top one smaller. Let's think. The size of a car is just one of the blocks high. Do we change the size of the trunk, or do we make the top ones a bit smaller? Because we want to keep the size of the head about similar. Oop. There we go. I think this could work. Perhaps. Yeah, let's make these a little smaller. How's that for an elephant? It's not bad. We just need to edit this trunk a little. Well, how big would it be if we kept the trunk in? It'd be that big. See, I think that would be a baby elephant. That looks okay. Yeah, fuck it. We ball. So we get rid of that. And then what we want to do is, how would I go about changing the way it's got its trunk? Would it be worth rotating? This is where I do find slight issues with Pixelorama, is that rotation is not its strong suit. You can't see that, but it's doing something weird because it's so tiny. Yeah, okay, rotation, actually I'm going to be straight up, it does suck with Pixelorama. I think they need to fix it, but see, is that even that much better? Maybe. We'll see what we can do with that. If not, I'll rotate it again. No. Select that. Yeah, I think maybe we'll need to rotate it again. It's kind of working though. Image. Rotate image. The thing I like about it is that it is a good way of doing pixel art, because it doesn't when you like paste images in, you can like sort of expand them or rotate them, and it will use it, whatever algorithms it has, to sort of make. Let's see, how does that look? That doesn't look that good. I might need to put the tusks in. I'll save the tusks. I think they'll need highlighting as well, because the tusks will get hidden because they're so tiny. Okay. Okay, it looks slightly clapped, but we can edit all of this. It actually doesn't look too bad, does it? A little bit of editing is all it really needs. And I sort of have to copy the whatever vibe of shading Dithermark has given me, slash whatever Windows bloody 3D Paint. I mean, this is technically a 3D Paint model. I don't know about the legality of that I've just used a model from 3D Paint, but I assume because it's I assume it's probably fine to use. I mean, it's for creatives, no? Let's not get bogged down in the legality of stuff now. We'll get rid of these. So have I just got rid of that on everything? I think I might have done. Remember to box in your target before you use the bucket tool with similar colors, because it will just delete every single color that's slightly similar to that on your entire. Oops. See, I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, look, when I selected this one, so I wanted to get rid of this one and all other ones that are a bit like it, I accidentally got rid of the tusks as well. Honestly, I don't mind the little dots of. Actually, no, do I mind them? I kind of do mind them. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe I will get rid of. Make sure I'm not selecting the tusks. Dupe, and then get my paint tool. There you go, they're all gone. Will I do it on that one? No, because I think it adds some extra shading, a bit of lightness, but on this one I think... Does it? Extra shading. I could keep it, fuck it. No, I could get rid of it. The important decisions that one has to make. I think this is fine. And then as well, is that exactly where I want it to be? In terms of placement, no, I want it to be a little lower. And I do want it to be kind of flat on the ground. So let's make it the middle one. Put this in the middle. And then we'll make it so that its legs are flat on the ground. There we go. Just sort of carve away till it looks like a standing elephant. I'm actually kind of pleased with how this is coming out a bit. That doesn't look great. Sort of have to guess at what you think it might want to look like. These dark bits could be little wrinkles or something. And now we need to make the elephant moving left and right. Doop. Oh no, we want to make the tusks a bit more pronounced because they look tiny. And there's some issues here. Alright, let's not jump the gun. Again, this is a slow episode. I'm going to take this slowly because I don't want to import a shitty looking texture into my game, funnily enough. We'll nick from that. This sort of colour. I'm also not really an artist, like a digital artist or anything. I mean, I have made all of the assets myself. I'll say that. Like, I give myself some props, but I wasn't trained how to draw. Sort of self-taught, self-inflicted, I'd say. Haha. I want it to be a bit longer, or a bit more sharp and pointy. Because they go down a bit far. There you go. Get rid of that. How's that look? Still look a little small. Though we don't want them to be like friggin' the mammoth tusks. We still want them to be elephant tusks. And as well, does it look smaller? Does it look like it's gotten smaller? Can't really have that as well. Let's make it a little bigger then. See if that doesn't ruin. No, that looks alright actually. Oh, we've only got one tusk as well. Be helpful to have two. Would be quite sad. A one-tusked elephant. Oop. Oh, no. See, now I'm working within a boundary. You see my grid line. If I had more room, because I want it to be as big as possible so it doesn't look like, but I do think I might have to shrink these guys a little bit. Fuck it, I'm gonna do that. Just a little bit, because I do think you fellas might be too big. Oop, what's happening? That's because I'm not on their layer. How's that look? Are we still the same size? I think that's a... Have I just made him sort of dwarf-like? You still want it to be a bit... Because it's his length, isn't it? Her length. God. She's a female. Has that barely changed? Yes, it has barely changed, but... Oh well. Do the same again with this guy, this girl. Yeah, I think that keeps the scale a bit better. It's just so that it doesn't look like when she rotates that she's like getting bigger and smaller. I think that would look pretty weird. Though in the scene, she's not going to be walking around that much at all. She's just going to be standing still and delivering dialogue. So for our purposes, it doesn't need to look great. And as well, you'll notice, well, we'll see what it looks like when it's in game, but one side, the center line, she's a bit off to the side. And then on this side, the center line's a bit off to the other side. This will either work well, because when she's walking, she'll naturally sway from side to side between the center line as her animation plays, or it will look shit and I'll have to fine tune it. That's just something we have to figure out when it begins, when the game starts. Do you know what? I'll try and guarantee that it looks a little better now by moving the still one to the exact center line, so her trunk is in the middle. Again, this still doesn't look great. Let me just tidy this up a tiny bit. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong one. Hopefully people don't notice that the tusks look a little weird. No, that definitely doesn't help. I think they actually look alright. Okay. We push on. No, oops. Just to maintain... there's issues. P to use the pencil, a little shortcut there. I do like Pixelorama. I mean, I'm still using it. I could use Krita. I don't use Photoshop, and I don't use any Adobe product. I could pirate them, I'm sure, but it's not really for money. I just don't fuck with the way the Adobe cartel is run. No, for real, I just subscription models and that sort of thing. And AI, they're using AI now. Don't get me wrong, I used to have Photoshop, and at uni I used Premiere Pro and all of that stuff. But okay, now I need to make a walking animation for a four-legged animal, but it's only 3 frames of a walking animation, if that makes sense. So it should be doable. You know, it should be doable. Let's think now. Let's move this front leg first. Again, for my purposes, she doesn't really need to move, but I do want to make some smaller elephants as well at some point, and I do want them to run around, so I will stretch out the leg, so it's sort of doing that. how does the elephant's leg move? Probably more like the full thing there. And we'll make a small window there. Give her some leg. That looks bad. It's okay. How does that look? Ooh, a little dodgy. I'm also aware that I am doing this for a live stream right now as well, so whatever I make doesn't actually have to go in the game. I can always end the stream at some point and go back and fix it all. But just as long as you guys get the general picture of how I'm sort of doing this, then that's fine by me. Make the other foot, make sure the other foot doesn't get swamped or disappeared. That sort of looks like a raised leg, you know, doesn't it? And then we'll move the back leg as well. We'll move it around to the front. Get rid of that. And just down to about here. That looks a bit lewd. No, it doesn't. Shut up. I got some darkness, some lightness. Again, shading's not so much of an issue. I think thankfully due to the art style of my game, it being kind of shit, I'm quite able to get away with a lot. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I can get away with it looking like that, but I can get away with quite a lot. And I recommend that if you're watching this video because you saw the title and it's called How to Make a Game in RPGMaker brackets easy, and you've managed to get this far, which I applaud you. Make it easy for yourself. Adopt some kind of art style that you'll know that you could find easy to work with, or you'd. Ooh, if I made it more like a bent leg, I feel like that would make sense. Just on a vibe of how it's looking. I mean, how the hell does an elephant move? I should have watched videos of an elephant moving, shouldn't I? Got some good references, but I think again, she's not actually gonna move. It's just so I can get the little guys. Again, I'm sort of referencing stuff that you won't know yet because I'm not at that point of the video yet. That actually doesn't look that bad. Does it? Does it look that bad and I just am blind to it? Because I want it to look good. Oof, maybe it does look a bit shit. Oh well. I'm gonna have to say oh well to that. And we'll do the next one. Because... Alright. Now with this one, we want the other leg to move, don't we? We sort of want this leg to move now, don't we? And then that leg. This leg and that leg. And this leg needs to... Oops. This leg needs to be more grounded. And we can maybe push this one out way more and have it sort of end here. this? Doesn't this look like a real elephant? No, oh, I can see whether it's using the shading though. We want that. Again, this looks, I sort of imagine to someone who knows what they're doing, this looks sort of insane. Oh! It's had a really bad accident. Okay, that looks shit. It needs to be a much more lifted up, doesn't it? We're just taking so our right click is our eyedropper tool. We're just taking colors that we know already exist within the elephant and sort of just reapplying them until visually it looks how we want it to. Ah, yeah, that's what we needed to separate the back leg from the front leg. A little bit of shading, which a little bit will go a long way. Think something's going wrong here with how this looks. I think it's mainly this. There we go. There we go, he says, but it still looks terrible. Would it go further forward? Fuck it. It's my own YouTube channel. Elephant walking side on. Full caps. Let's see this. They don't even lift their legs up, their back legs that much. Do they? Oops. Just open the wrong thing. Yeah. It's sort of, they move their back legs from up here, right? And then it just sort of dangles down almost straight. Oh, this is it? As long as we get the rough shape. This guy's way out of line, I think. Oops. Yes. As long as I get the shapes out first, it doesn't matter so much. God fucking hell. Wow, that looks bad. Get some of these bits, the lighter bits, around the foot. Sort of drags it along. That's looking a bit better, actually. For a second there I lost faith, but I'm coming back round. You wouldn't know I lost faith, but I keep it inside. I keep my doubts inside and just keep pushing. That's the main thing. Especially with making anything, I think you'll get to a point where you're like, this is fucking awful. And then if you just keep pushing, eventually it will come back round again. And you'll be like, this actually looks good enough for what I'm trying to get at. Perfect is the enemy of good enough, or whatever they say. And I don't mean that to say just like make crap, but I do think if you're not making stuff for fear that it's not perfect or it's not the exact thing, not the I don't know, I don't think you should be compromising as such. me try and get what I'm thinking out exactly right whilst I'm making this awful abomination. What has gone wrong with this leg? Alright, it didn't have that much light green. Like, I don't think you should compromise on your project there, your vision. But I do think if you ever want to make anything, nothing's going to be perfect. So at some point you have to accept that what you've got is what you've got. I think in motion that might not look great. Perhaps I can flick the trunk round just to add something else. Yes, excellent. To distract from the legs, make a different part of the animal move. Oops, not all similar area. And we want this to be that, this to be that, this to be that. No, we want that to be that, that, and that. And we'll throw a bit of shading in as well. Looks alright. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to distract from the bad bits with some better bits. Some bits you know that look alright. Alright. So now the walking animation will look a bit better because it's the trunk will be swaying. The trunk will be swaying as she walks. Fantastic. Alright. Let's grab this. And then we copy this because now we want her to face the other way. And we do our really cheaty method. We just line this up here. Oop. Now what? Cancel that. Is this exactly lined up either side? Yep. Yep. Nope. If you do it like this, you basically can't go wrong when you're copy and pasting along the guidelines, the grid lines, or whatever. So then we flip it around. I shouldn't whistle into the mic. I don't have like a pop filter or anything. I don't know. The mic is pretty. It's alright quality actually. I was very impressed with this headset. It sounds so much better than my last mic, which has actually allowed me to have the idea of live streaming. So, doesn't that look kind of good though? Alright, let's I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm noticing that it's like almost an hour and I'm actually needing a pee pretty badly, so I'm gonna hit a B right back. But we'll slot this into the game, and do you know what? Due to how long this has taken, I was gonna show how to write out dialogue and do this whole dialogue and put it in the game, but I didn't know how long any of this would take me, so I probably won't get around to that, but I'll go back into RPGMaker before the end of this, and we'll put the elephant in, we'll make her say something, and then I think that'll be the end of the show. But let me just go to the toilet real quick because I'm busting for a pee. Hey guys, I'm back. Atrocious cheap viewers on Streambo.net. Whoa, we got a first time chatter in the chat. Atrocious border backer. Cheap viewers on Streambo.net. Okay. we can get some cheap viewers. I don't like cheap viewers. I prefer working hard for my one viewer, which is myself. All right. Let's just continue. Okay. What am I doing now? Oh yeah, let's this is taking a bit longer than I thought it would. Get the elephant, get the next elephant involved. That's good. New layer. It looks so weird. That looks actually really, it kind of looks like a ball bag or something. Looks like just looks loot, doesn't it? A big green ball sack. Why have I copied that? It's not what I meant to do. It was take it down, shrink it down, and you know what? I'm going to chop off the trunk because I don't think the trunk should be involved. Try and get it to about there. That's about. We don't want it to look too different from the top version, do we? It looks a little fatter. I don't know how that can be, but it is. It's kind of cute. That's because it's not as down by the bottom. There we go. Is that right? Yes. And then we want to, oops, not that. Just want to chop off the trunk. Do we want to chop off the whole trunk? Maybe a bit of the trunk we'll keep. No, I don't think we will keep that, but for now we can. I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker because I actually do want to get back to RPGMaker before the episode ends, and I do want this to be around about an hour. Similar colors, douche. We'll make that sort of look like, you know how elephants sort of have like a big brain cage? I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but they sort of have that crease in the middle. There you go, it's sort of like a big brain cage. I don't know what I mean by that. Like they have a very clear separation where the two hemispheres of their brain is. Do you know what I mean? Like elephant front. Oh, you can't even see it there. Maybe they don't have a big brain cage. What am I thinking of? You know how you can see that like on a dog? Elephant head. Yeah. Yeah. You see it's got these two lumps. That's definitely not for its brain. I'm getting sidetracked. These big lumps here. It's sort of similar to a dog's head. They have the same sort of lumps. Sort of like it's two sides of the hemisphere of like its head or its brain. You know how the brain is two halves, like do dogs and elephants share that little feature? They're both mammals, just like us. That looks a bit shit though. Do you know what? We'll get rid of that too. Just sort of make its head a bit flatter, and maybe we can have a little bit of a brain cage situation going on. That looks bad. Oh my god. I just heard another cat that wasn't our cat outside the house. It's weird. It didn't make... My cat's just over there. Can you see that? She's on the chair. It didn't make her freak out though. That's just something I can hear in real life that's got no bearing on the stream. Again, I'm now getting sidetracked again. Get rid of these guys. Oh yeah, that's good to get rid of. And just make that the standing still one. I'll come back and edit. Do you know what? I'm just going to copy this 3 times and make this thing. So when it walks upwards, it's not going to have an animation. So when it walks away from the camera, it's not going to have an animation. We're just going to have to be okay with that for this demonstration / tutorial. I think I've done a good amount of work here anyway. I don't work on this game nearly as much as I should. It should have been done ages ago. But anyway, we'll export that. We'll go into RPGMaker. So now we're back in RPGMaker. We'll go to our resource manager. We're in our graphics characters. We can import X4 enemy type. They're not enemies, these elephants, but they're called as such. We'll put in, where is she? X4 enemy type. All of our cars, our big crows. Look at that. That looks good, doesn't it? Pop her in. And do you know what? We'll give her a move route just to sort of show off what we've accomplished here today. And then after we do this little move route, I'll move down, move right, move up. Let's add in a couple move downs, couple move rights, move up, and we'll do that. The trigger is custom mover. Will that just trigger? We'll see if that just triggers as soon as we start the thing. So our player start is there. In this part of the game, you'd normally be playing as someone else, as Todd. The perspective of this game changes characters, but we're just in as a tire at the moment as sort of a placeholder. Again, I'm sort of saying stuff that if you played the game, you might understand. Oh. Oh shit. I put it in the wrong way. Oh well. So all I would need... Oh fuck it, we can actually change that, can't we? Ah, it looks quite good. I mean, it's moonwalking backwards. That's incorrect. Alright. We're bug shooting. Obviously, because the bird's flying left. Oh, for fuck's sake, you idiot. Alright, side profile. Alright, they're all on the same layer. For goodness sake, man. We'll just copy you. You're on a different layer, so it's fine. I'll just move you. Then we'll move you. Up to here. And then we'll get you again. Now we'll just copy you, paste you, flip you around, and then get rid of you. Control D, file, export, RPGMaker, tools, resource manager, import, enemy type, import it in, and now the beast should look at that. Doesn't that look great? Look what we've done today. So now when you play Attire episode 3, is it? I'm gonna redo this fence. This looks shit. That's gonna bug me. Just the way that looks. We'll have our elephant Joan as a character. You'll be able to talk to her. She's not just gonna be wandering around. And then inside the little pen, there will be tons of little elephant cubs or pups, like little puppy elephants, running around the pen. And that's a scene from the game. I'm sure that this has not been a great tutorial. It's definitely not been a great tutorial, but oh shit, I forgot. Tweets of the week. Okay guys, let's do tweets of the week real quick. The repost of the week is sort of if anyone follows Twitter, what's going on Twitter right now, Grok is the AI that Elon Musk has created, and he's been unable to control it at all in his tenure as CEO and having made this fucking stupid thing. And as well, the funny thing is it's like it disagrees with him a lot on a lot of points, because Elon Musk is this like legalized comedy guy. Grok has turned out to be quite left-wing, and then Elon Musk has gone into the code of Grok or whatever the fuck, the back end, and has tried to make Grok like more right-wing and conservative. And well, here's the tweet that I saw. This is my repost of the week. It's crazy. Grok has become like a full-on fascist. I'm not going to read it out. You can probably read it out yourself, but I just thought that was crazy. Yeah, Twitter is a cesspool. I'm slightly aware that tweets of the week is based off a platform which is terrible. So it's a horrible place to be. But who cares? I still use Twitter all the time. And then my tweet of the week is, what if they made up prion disease to stop us from realizing that human meat is the tastiest? Hashtag cannibalism. Now I'm a big fan of a hashtag that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, like hashtag cannibalism. Sort of like, if you were a cannibal, this is how you'd be using Twitter. Or if you were just thinking about cannibalism and you were on Twitter, you'd be using the cannibalism hashtag. Is anyone using the cannibalism hashtag? I don't know, but I just thought it funny. It was funny to me to think of someone use like a situation where someone would use that hashtag cannibalism. So those are my tweets of the week. That's been Ed's show. I've managed to ramble on for about an hour and change, so I hope this has been interesting. But if not, who cares? I mean, this is, whatever. Anyway, yeah, really enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye, everyone. Don't mean it like that. I just mean like the end of the show.